Hey guys, believe it or not, it's time to start planning for that spring and summer garden. And we're going to have a look at some plants today that we're picking out for our garden that you guys may like for yours. So why don't we go and have a look. So all of these plants are going to be from proven winners. We've found over time that they just perform and do fantastic for us. So, if we enjoy them and found that they work really well for us, I want to stand behind a brand like that, and I will share it with you guys. What I don't do on the channel, and what you guys have seen, is that I don't share anything that I haven't used myself and tried out. So we've done some planning, browsed around, looked at their garden idea book, and come up with a plan of some annuals that we're going to be using this year. Not only going to use them in the garden, in the ground plantings, but also plantings that we're going to be putting in containers. All of these will work really well. We have, as you guys have seen in some of our garden tours, which I'll link up above, that we have a really sunny home, really front and back, really gets good sun all day long. So typically in my plants I look for sun and part sun plants, and these annuals are going to fit the bill there completely. So let's take a look at my screen here and see what we have going on. The first one we're going to pick here is this Truffle pink Gomphrena. Amazing plant. We used it a little bit last year and the year before, but I think that you've probably seen it if you're a garden lover and a fan of proven winners. You've seen it on Laura from Garden Answer. She's used it in her garden before, and it just does really well. As you can see, easy to care for, likes the heat, but it attracts hummingbirds. A funny story, I think that that Laura from Garden Answer had planted this in mass, and she found that it didn't necessarily smell very good. Now we won't have necessarily a planting of it quite that large, but I think that we're going to be happy with it. But scrolling down, it gets a good height on it, right around 2 feet. Spread is again about 2 feet. So if you want to have that very full looking planting, a spread of them, or looking for that mass, always remember you want to kind of go on the lower end of the spacing, and then they'll grow together. But full sun attracts the butterflies and hummingbirds. And this will work well in both out in the garden and out in a container of some sort. So really nice. Excited about this one. You'll see that I'm showing some pictures from Garden Crossings website. They're a great place to look at, and you can also look at Proven Winners website. Garden Crossings, they are a supplier of Proven Winners, so it's one and the same. But yeah, so that's Truffle Gomphrena. Awesome plant. Again, like I said, we're going to have a lot of plantings here that are going to be things that we're going to be able to put in the ground or in pots, and it's going to be full sun to sun. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these recommendations. You all want to make sure that this will all work in your space. So next up is Suncredible Yellow. I kind of think of it as a miniature sunflower, but in looking at this picture here, it kind of gives a good feel for what it looks like. It's going to be great along a fence line. That's kind of what I'm thinking of it for our space. But again, it's another plant that gets pretty big, 2 foot, 3 foot, 3.5 foot tall. And it has a good spread on it. So if you're wanting to block things, I think it will work well. Using it along fence lines, or if you have a row of shrubs, boxwoods, or something like that, it's going to look really nice against that. But taking a look at the pictures, you can see that, you know, they're gorgeous. It's got a beautiful eye on it. A durable plant that's going to do really fantastic for us in the garden. So I'm really excited about that one also. So let's take a look at the next one. Begonias. You guys have seen that we planted some begonias last year before last, as a huge drift along our front area of our house. Did fantastic. And those were the rose begonias from Proven Winners that just did really good. So we're really excited about these because they're doubles. So it's going to give you that rose or carnation type of look, and it's going to have fantastic pink color. This is the blush rose. Really excited about it. It does say out of stock here, but perhaps we can get it elsewhere. That's one thing that I wanted to kind of drop a hint on there is, you know, you can order from some of the suppliers of Proven Winners, Garden Crossings being one, or you can order them direct from Proven Winners itself. Or some things that folks don't know is you can go to Home Depot and order Proven Winner plants there. So, you know, they may not have the full selection, but they do have a variety of them. And, you know, if your order's over a certain amount, they ship free. You've seen in some of my other videos that I think I'll link above that, you know, they come packed very well, very quickly, healthy plants. Just really impressed with how they come in the mail. So certainly something to check out. But back to the rose begonias. Looking at these blooms, they're just, you know, wow, really great. Almost looks like a rose, hence the name. But excited about these. Now these are going to get about a foot high, 8 to 14 inches. But they like that sun again. And the cool thing about these that I think is neat is that they also will take part shade. So, you know, certainly check those out if you have conditions like that, where you can kind of work these, you know, either way. But really nice. It does say here, you know, you can put them in containers or hanging baskets. I have seen these in hanging baskets, and they kind of look like that, where they get a good spill over the edge of the pot. So they're going to look really nice there. So again, something to definitely check out if you know, if that is your fan. Some people don't like begonias for some reason, and I think that I was of that same opinion, you know, just a few years back. But I got them a couple years ago, and they really perform. And it may be a case of Proven Winner really goes through their plants and you know, grows them to perform. And it may have been that I had a bad experience with them in the past, but these are all self-cleaning plants where, you know, they will deadhead themselves, and you're not having to, you know, be out there in the garden maintaining things like that, you know, on the plants. So you can be more out there just enjoying them. So let's move on to the next plant. Snapdragons. So as you can see here on the screen, they have an awesome variety of snapdragons, and we're really going to have to kind of, you know, pin them down on what we really want. But we have kind of a cottage garden, and these are all going to look, you know, just awesome. Really excited about them. All of their snapdragons, you know, they have some that are a little bit taller than others, so you're going to want to watch that. But they all love the sun. They just perform really well. This one here, the white one, as you can see, height 18 to 24 inches. But they look fantastic in a pot, something like this, or this. Or, you know, you can put them in a mass out in the garden. That's really how I like to do my annuals. If I don't have them in a container, I prefer to try to plant them in mass somewhere in the garden, where you're really going to get that statement or that show that they're really going to stand out and get the feel that you want. So let's look at another one here. Lemon Appeal, Black-Eyed Susan Vine. This one here looks really awesome. Let me find a picture here where they've got it growing on a vine here. So it's the yellow ones, of course. You can have it growing on a trellis, or of course you can have it growing on an obelisk or any type of thing on a wall if you wanted to. We have an area in our garden that is along a brick wall that I think I'm going to put these, or I do have kind of a pyramid trellis built out in the garden that I may plant some around that gives it more of a teepee form, that I think it will look really, really fantastic. So height 60 inches to 96 inches, love that sun. So another one that I think is really gonna perform in our garden. And as you can see, they have these in a container too. So if you're not a fan of putting things in the ground, you have a smaller garden or a patio garden, you can still enjoy these. And what they're going to do is they're going to trail down from this planter and look awesome. Verbena is another one that we're looking at. Lilac verbena. These do really well. They remind me a lot of a phlox type of plant. If you've ever seen like a creeping phlox, very similar to that in my opinion. But they perform really well too. They stay really low to the ground and they spread out really far, again like a creeping phlox. So you definitely want to check these out. I have found that my personal experience is that these do better in the ground as they opposed to what they would in a container, at least for me and the luck that I've had. So we've got this on the list. Supertunias is another one that is wildly popular, and we've used all kinds of them in our garden, in the ground, in containers. You'll see that the Vista series here, those are the ones that are kind of like Supertunias on steroids. They will take off and take over an area, and it doesn't really take very many plants to really fill in a space and make it look just like a show. Let's see if they have a picture here. Here's one, and you can just see how they're all through this area here. And they work really, really well in containers also. You're going to get a container such as this one here where they're actually going to spill over the side, and what you can do is during the summer give them a midsummer cut, or a twice. Give them a good haircut. I think I have a video of that I'll link up here also, where you give them a good haircut and then they'll flush out and just start performing again if they start to look tired or anything like that. But this Morning Glory one, that nice purple we have planned, we're looking at this one here. The Sangria has a really nice pinkish color. I really like this one, Bermuda Beach. Really, really nice color. Let me see, there's another one here of it paired with some purples. Looks really nice. Limoncello is another one that we have our eye on, and I think it's going to look really nice also. Last one, the Vista Indigo is another awesome color. Looks really cool with the limoncello. I really like that pairing. And you'll see that some of these are mini and some of them are not. The mini is not necessarily the overall size of the plant, but really more the size of the bloom itself is a little bit smaller than the traditional one from what I found. So that's kind of what we have planned here. I'm going to be ordering these in the next couple of days, and that's the other piece of this that I wanted to talk to you guys about, is that if you are ordering these online, you probably get a little bit better of a selection than what you do by going to your local garden center. Of course, you want to support them, but they may not have everything that you need. So what you want to try to do is judge what you usually get from your garden center, or things that you can't get from them, you want to order online. And you can pre-order all of these. And what they'll do is they'll ship them to you when it's time to plant, which is, the really awesome piece about this. But you want to get in early. One thing last year that we kind of missed out on with everything going on in the world was that I guess everyone was thinking, hey, we're going to start a garden because, we're home. and a lot of the suppliers of proven winter plants specifically were already out. So that was kind of a bummer. But all of these plants, whether they're in a container or we plant them in the ground, I do use a water-soluble fertilizer that I give them on a once-a-week basis. Just to feed them. Of course, you know, the ones that are in the container need that a lot more than what's in the ground just because they're in a container. But I'm really excited about this, and I'm excited to see them all arrive, you know, once we get them ordered up. We should see them, you know, some of them start to drift in relatively soon. They may be shipping early, and then some more throughout the season. So look for videos on all of these that we'll share as they come in, and we'll plant them up and kind of talk about them a little bit more in depth. If you like the video, be sure to give us a subscribe and like, and leave us a comment of what you have planned for your garden this year. I'd really be interested to know, and kind of use this as a community. And of course, this was all annuals. We are going to do a video on perennials. I have some perennials in mind for the garden this year that I'll talk about also, and kind of run down what we have in store there. But again, I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you watching. Leave any tips or tricks that you guys have for your annuals on what you've enjoyed and the performance that you've seen out of any of these plants in particular. Leave those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'd love it if you subscribe and support the channel. But until next time, guys, see you later. Bye-bye. To, you know, see what may perk your interest. So we're going to have a look at some plants here from Proven Winners that are going to be fantastic, tried and true. Cut! Believe it or not,